Okay, so the good people alternate current hit me up with this new indie flick. It is called She Came from the Woods. It is directed by Erik Bloomquist, who co-wrote it with Carson Bloomquist. Keeping it in the family, it would seem. It is produced by Carson and Erik, along with William Sadler, Adam Weppler, Cara Buono, and associate produced by Andrew Grenhard. Tim Williams handles the music, Mike Magdalenic, cinematography. Both Carson and Erik edit the feature. Shane Meador is on production design. Tammy Gibbons, costume design. Hair and makeup, we have got Tressa Cotone, Mercedes McCoy, and Amanda Pepin. Corey Azanovsky handles production management. And our cast. Well, we have got William Sadler as Gilbert McAlister. His daughter, Heather, is played by Cara Buono. She's got two sons. There is Peter, played by Spencer List, and his older brother, Sean, played by Tyler Elliot Burke. Peter is dating Lauren Davies, played by Clare Foley, who also has a brother there called Ben, played by Dan Leahy. Some of the other counselors at the camp are Dylan, played by Adam Weppler. There's Mike, played by Ehad Berisha. Veronica, played by Giselle Torres. Ashley, played by Sienna Hubert-Ross. Danny, played by Erik Bloomquist. Kelly, played by Emily Keefe. Then it's the kids, right? So we've got Martha, played by Tess Santanesario. Tommy, played by Declan Foley. Dennis, played by Coulter Ibance. We have got Agatha, played by Madeline Dewar. The pizza delivery guy, played by Corey Ansafowski. We have got Officer Matthews, played by Michael Park. There's Deputy Barrett, played by Cody Bosia. There's a young Heather in it, played by Juliana Davis. A younger version of Gilbert, played by Carson Bloomquist. Evelyn is played by Emily Raffala. And Amy is played by Alice Kremelberg. Okay, so the gist is this. Egged on by Peter, the prodigal grandson of camp's owner Gilbert McAlister, a group of teen camp counselors accidentally summoned a spirit of the dead nurse who terrorized the camp with her occult experiments 40 years earlier. Now the camp's counselors and the McAlister family that owns the campgrounds must fight for their lives on the last night of camp. So there you go. Now, accidentally, I don't know if we're saying that, right? Because they did it with full intent. Now, they may not have believed it would happen, but you know, they did do a ceremony. So, yeah. Now we open up with a young Heather. We don't know it's her at first. She's running through the woods. And we just, we hear noises and it's all very sinister. She hides and then a shadow falls over her and she screams. Then we jump to present day, right? So camp is finishing. The kids are all running around. They're about to do a production. It's all of this, but it's showing that, the kids are all cocky, right? You've got the counselors who are all, trying to hook up before everyone goes home. There's a load of different stuff going on. One of the counselors is like supposedly 30, though they all look the same age, And yeah, then they do this summoning and it all goes crazy. Now, this is meant to be set in 1987, right? It's a throwback to your teen slashers, taking a lot of influences from some of those horror mainstays like Friday the 13th, Scream, I Know What You Did Last Summer, Nightmare on Elm Street, just all of that jazz, right? And yeah, I mean, feel-wise, it kind of works as an 80s flick. You get the sense it is, it's a little bit older, right? Bit older. Story-wise, it feels like it is all over the place. Feels like it's all over the place. It doesn't ever, because it's meant to be like this horror comedy. It never really jumps into that comedy lane. Like the comedy elements are like little kids going, "Hey, just ask the girl out. What are you? A pussy?" Right? That's the comedy. It's little kids calling adults names and stuff like that. And yeah, it didn't really work for me. Right? We've seen a slew of 80s remakes or odes to that period. Sometimes it works, right? Most of the time it does not. Right? Two of the most successful being Top Gun Maverick, right? Definitely. That was awesome. And Psycho Gorman, that Shudder original, which was a great, fun piece. Kids v Alien isn't bad, but most of the time, the problem is, right, there is a thing about 80s flicks. It was made in a time, right? We didn't have mobile phones, we didn't have the internet. Not everyone had computers, right? You'd go to the video store, Betamax and VHS, right? Vinyl records, tapes. That was what was going down. So we didn't know like super graphics and all of that. So like there's a lot of stuff that you were just like, yeah, that's really fucking cool. Because that was as good as it had been. I remember like things like Sensible Soccer and the first FIFA, and you thought those graphics were insane, right? Now you have stuff that looks like an actual friggin' film, and that's not a cutscene, that's actual game footage. So there was a load of things that would work when it came to film and storytelling. Because that was the peak of what it was at that time. So going back to that, it doesn't work to try and go, oh, this was a joke that worked back then, let's just do more of that. No, right? Because it worked for a reason, right? So you can tonally create something, but you have to make it seem like it makes sense. And just so many times with these things, we get films and TV shows that do not make sense, right? We don't know why the fuck are these idiots trying to do this summoning, right? Because this is like, oh, we've tried it before, but now we've worked out why. And how did you work out how? Right? None of that's ever explained. And I think things like that help get you up in this shit. Right? There's a bit when everything is going crazy and Heather's like, she shouts out, no one goes out on their own. But at that point, I think what, 2, 3 of them had all gone out on their own. And she didn't say a thing when they were like, okay, I'll go here, I'll go here, I'll go. And then it's just like, no, everyone must stay together. So it's just like, wait, what? Huh? If you're on fire, right? If you're on fire, firstly, your lungs would probably be burnt. So you're not talking. And, definitely not talking clearly. And your face ain't blistering instantaneously. So there's just these things that you're just like, wait, what? And then there's the stuff that goes down. And you're just like, no one's doing that. Right? There's just people doing things, and you're just like, even in the friggin' 80s, people had more sense than to do that shit. Some very peculiar things going down, right? Like, you clearly understand that something's a trap, but they're just not taking any sort of precautions. It's very odd. It's like, with something like this, you can't really blame the cast because, they've been given directions. Someone is going, cut, great, that's the scene, and so there's an issue with like the portrayals and everything like that, right? You don't ever get a sense of fear from people because instead of acting scared and being anxious, shouting is utilized to kind of show fear, right? And so there's a load of scenes with everyone just shouting, right? And it's just like, okay, you might be shouting, but that doesn't make us believe any of this shit is going down, right? It's just, when you have all these people that supposedly know what's going on, but then they're still standing around while certain things happen. It's just like, huh? Like, people could get saved, but instead of that, they just stand and gulp. It's weird. It's weird, right? In some ways, it reminded me of Slumber Party Massacre, right? Came out at the end of 2021. We covered it on the podcast. I cannot remember what episode, people. And then on Netflix, we had the Fear Street trilogy, which again we covered. Those I enjoyed, and I think they captured the tone a lot better than this did. Slumber Party Massacre did. The problem with Slumber Party Massacre was that it tried to insert all the craziest stuff from now, right? So they wanted to be all trendy and subversive, right? Be like, don't talk to a woman like that. Oh no, and you're just like, wait, when someone's chasing you, you're going to stop and say shit. Come on now, what are we doing here? There's a load of silliness like that. And yeah, but I think it again kind of fit the tone better, right? The Fear Street being the best version of that, I think. But yeah, if those 80s throwback pieces, if that's your thing, then this could work for you, So yeah, think Slumber Party Massacre, the recent remake, right? Think that. And if you're cool with that kind of thing, but not as funny, even though Slumber Party Massacre wasn't really funny, right? But definitely not as funny and not executed as well. But if you think that works for you, people, then I would say She Came from the Woods is something you want to check out, right? So yeah, it's available. Go well, you can find it from all the links on the website. All right, people. So She Came from the Woods.